Hello interwebs, I hope you are all doing well, and today I have something a little extra special for all of you because, as many of you know, I am a huge fan of Star Trek Lower Decks. It is my second favorite Star Trek show of all time behind Deep Space Nine, which is saying something considering Star Trek is my favorite franchise of all time. I mean, just within reach I have like several Star Trek things, but I have several Lower Decks things in specific here. I got Badgie right here. I got a Moopsie hiding over there on the couch, which I don't think you can see in the shot, but huge Lower Decks fan. And that show was run by none other than Mike McMahan, the showrunner, executive producer of Lower Decks. And I have been lucky enough to get to know him over the years, become kind of a friend with him. He's a really great guy. And I have also fallen in love with his other show that he currently runs, Solar Opposites, which sadly, just like Lower Decks, is about to have its final season, season 6, air, I think just this week that this video will be going out. And I was just lucky enough to get a chance to interview him, Mike, as well as the other executive producer on Solar Opposites, Josh Bicel, about the upcoming season. And I just took the opportunity to talk to both of them about what I love, not only in Solar Opposites, but in Lower Decks, which is this queer ethos of both shows. And when I say queer ethos, it's not me saying, both shows have a lot of like bisexual characters or gay characters, whatever, which both shows do. They have very overt characters, but both shows are very funny, very ridiculous, but have this perspective of people who are outside the norm, outside the system, and trying to find their own purpose in worlds that try to tell them that they have to exist a certain way. And then obviously having all this weird, dorky, strange, over-the-top, very overtly sexual, horny in Solar Opposites case, humor to a lot of it, and it's just very, very nerdy in a lot of ways. So it's really just everything that I love. Like Mike McMahan, as well as all the other writers, including Josh on Solar Opposites and Lower Decks, just really nail the kind of storytelling and the kind of perspective that I love in media, which is why I love his shows so much. So I just got a chance to talk to both Mike and Josh about that in the upcoming season of Solar Opposites, which I have seen, by the way, and really love. You should check it out if you have, if you like Solar Opposites and you have not seen Solar Opposites, you should go check it out as well. Oh, also, before I get started, I should say something weird happened with my recording of this. So, the audio's good. The video of Mike and Josh is pretty good as well, but for some reason, my video is like stuck up in the corner. So you'll see it on the screen here, but yeah, just sorry for the weird framing of this interview. But yeah, enjoy the interview.
Hey, Jessie. Good. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Josh. And yeah, I'm sorry I have to deal with Mike, but
I can't believe you haven't met Josh. That's crazy.
I know. That's you. I blame you, Mike.
Jessie and I have been friends for years, Josh. So she's going to give me grief during this, but as soon as she gets to know you better, she'll give you grief too.
I love it.
I give grief to people that I actually like, so it means that I do adore you, Mike.
Sure.
But so first question that I want to ask you both: did you both know that this was the final season of Solar going into it as you were writing?
We were told probably, but we were like, you just got to like not fully believe it for a while, and then. We also had a lot of conversations about like the final season of a show is never anybody's favorite season in a comedy, right? Mm-hmm. And we just didn't want the whole season to be in service of finality.
Yeah.
So like we wanted it to be like some storylines were ending, some were starting, but the whole time it felt like what you love about the show. Because you didn't want to have 6 seasons and have 10 of those episodes suck. You know what I mean? So at least that was what we tried.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but having watched them, there is a sense of like the characters weirdly, in their own strange, awkward way, growing throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, we wanted that too.
We've been talking about the money thing for a while, and it made perfect sense for this year, right? Because they're growing and they're weirdly becoming more human. And what's more human than having money issues? By the way, and having to adapt and having to change. And if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have found out that Terry actually has an amazing talent as a romantasy novelist, and that Dumulak and Jessie are great students when they actually try.
Yeah.
Right? And
I love that storyline. I wish we'd had more time to do with that, because like the idea that they were failure little shitbag students in school until they had to try and then found out they were geniuses is the most ADHD coded thing I think I've ever written. And like, it just makes me really, it's just like, hey guys out there, if you're having a hard time, like you're going to find your thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it just felt good. I wish we'd done more with that.
Well, that's what I like. That's what I like about this show, and I think just knowing you, Mike, and a lot of how you write stuff like Lower Decks, it's like there's these characters that find their weird hyper specificity that they just focus on, and then once they find that, then they are able to like blossom into like, okay, I'm all about romantasy as this weird niche nerd thing that I love, and like, oh, the world actually supports that.
Yeah, that it like frees you when you find it is really, and I think what you just said too is like, you know, we've been getting questions about like, have the characters and the world of the show gotten more queer as the show's been going? And to me, it's funny because I never defined it as that, even though I do believe it's true. And to me, it's that the show and the characters have become more human and weirdly in their comedy, more realistic.
Yeah.
Because I think that like, you know, because there's a throuple in this final season, there's like all these things that are normal for somebody, right? And like a show gets to tell you what the normal world is. And the more we expand that, it's funny because you don't see it on other shows, but it doesn't feel weird for characters to be living however they want. It felt really good.
It's not we just do it because that's who they are.
Because they're just people.
Yeah.
We're not like, it doesn't matter to us to put it in anyone's face. It just is what it is. That's who they are. And it's more fun that way. By the way, like, hey, guess what? They're immigrants. We can say it now after 6 seasons. You know, I know that's a bad word, but like we are, in some ways, we are telling the immigrants.
They are the only criminal immigrants on television. They do kill a lot of people. And I think they eat pets. They might be the only pet-eating immigrants.
No. Oh, no.
They might be actually eating pets.
And they're queer. You've just done all the stereotypes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All the bad guys were right about a single family, and it was the ones on this show, unfortunately.
JD Vance got that one right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, damn it.
Well, I like, but what you're all saying is, because you're saying, oh, it's gotten more queer as it's gone along, and I think like, I think when people say that, like, they mean probably like explicit queerness in the sense of like, oh, they're gay, they're like, you know, polycules, thruples. For me though, and again, it's like a thing I see across this show and even Lower Decks too. Again, sorry to bring in that one for you, Mike, but it's just this queer ethos in the sense of these are characters who feel like they're pushed out by society in some way, and they're trying to figure out where they fit and how they best fit the mold. And to me, that's like a queer ethos across the show. And like to be queer, people think queerness is this, like, oh, I know my identity right now, but no, it's a figuring it out. And I'm curious what you both think about that as like just an identity of like your writing styles.
I think that you've hit the nail on the head where a major portion of this show is where do I belong and who am I? And that trying to find those answers are usually not going to result in things you either want to know or things that are true. And that when you aren't looking for it and when you are just being is where you find it. And you find it in things like caring about other people, caring about your family, like, you know, Corvo wanting the mission to be his main thing for so long and then being pulled all the time from season 1 on into, but I also want to be liked. I also want to be invited to the party. I don't understand why Terry's not hanging out with me, and not being able to reconcile what he thinks he should be and what he is. And I think that like you're seeing that in The Wall, you're seeing that with more than just sexuality or gender or what have you, that like in this show, it really is, the comedy is coming from people that mean well and just don't have it all figured out, no matter what that means, right? And sometimes there's villains, right? And those villains, my favorite thing to do is to set those villains up and then make you like them 2.5 seasons later. You know what I mean? Like, just that nobody is ever one thing. Nobody's ever stuck in one thing. Like, it's just a fun thing to do in a show where we are doing an animated comedy that is unlike any other animated comedy before it, while also being exactly like those things. And it's that weird mix where you get something unexpected all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it even comes up, you're talking about like villains, and this is kind of going into the question I had prepped of the other storylines, where you have The Wall, and you have, I'm blanking on his name, but the guy who comes back, who was the
Duke.
The Duke.
Ringo.
Yeah. Yes, he comes back this season and has like a whole crisis of identity of like, who am I? After being corrupted as a zombie. And then you also have the Silver Cops, and you have, again, I'm terrible with names, so apologies.
Glenn. Glenn. His name is Glenn, and then we changed his name to Dodge Charger, and then legal said we couldn't do that after we already did it. So we always call him Dodge, or 2 pages later, charger. Never can it be together.
That's really funny. I also like his sexuality is just for cars, but he's also
He
a
loves
dog.
cars.
So there's like, it's a furry mechanical thing going on in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels to that one.
Yeah.
Well, he loves Fast and the Furious, and of course, ultimately, he just wants to fuck a car,
I mean,
which I think is so great.
follow your bliss, right? I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, those stories are so interestingly political in their own ways, and yet you're able to like talk about these people who are part of these systems, whether they be like, you know, rulers or they be literal cops, and like talk about the systems as problems and how do we function within them, but then also like them as people within that. And again, I'm curious, like, you're thinking about that.
Yeah, the systems are the bad guys. Like the wall is about bad systems, and it's about whether you have good intentions or bad, it doesn't turn out the way you expect, and it doesn't help anybody around you. And it's, you know, the systems that created the Schlorpians that they thought were so important for so long are just another bad system, and that ultimately the only heroes are the ones that slow down and find love and learn about themselves and eat candy and fuck around and have fun. And like that wanting to be in charge of people is fucking weird. You know, and wanting to tell people what to do or even tell yourself what to do, it's fucking sucks. Like, chill out. So, you know, I do think that, like, you know, yeah, the Silver Cops are never a likable group. You know what I mean? And you know, that's definitely a through line. If there's ever a likable cop in Solar, they usually turn out to be a stripper. So like,
yes,
or the
yeah,
one cop that was haunted by unexplained high concept deaths. We felt bad.
Oh yeah. And he's like, it's definitely Terry and Corvo doing that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, wanting to do things that other shows kind of don't get to do because it's like they might alienate the audience or they might be, but it's like on this show where everything's a target, you know what I mean? Like you kind of just get to tell it like it is without ever making that the point of the show. Like nobody can watch this show and feel like they're in class. Nobody can watch this show and feel like they're being preached to. Instead, it's just all part of the chaos. And that's the honesty of it. You know what I mean? Like that's because like, look,
that's the humanity of it. Yeah.
I'm a cis straight white guy who benefits from these systems all around me all the time. And like, you know, man, do I know that? And I, you know, like, was I the one chosen to write these characters and this stuff? And it's like, honestly, I just look at the systems I benefit from and switch it around on everybody. And because like comedy is coming from a place of a shared reality. Comedy only works when you're understanding, you know, the joke that everybody's in court, and that like these characters that are so unlike me are also incredibly like all of us. You know what I mean? Like they're so different and alien from us, but they're also 100% like all of us. And I think that's where kind of the beauty of the sense of humor of the show comes from.
Well, I agree. And it's why I adore it. And I adore both your work. So thank you to both of you. But I have been told I have to wrap up. So I will bid you both adieu. And Josh, it was great meeting you. And Mike, it was
nice to meet you.
Yeah. And Mike, it was all right. It was fine talking to you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jessie. Thank you.
I adore you. Yeah. All right. See ya.
Wait. Before you go, did you do the nails for us?
No, I did this for me.
That was just alien nails? You had Terry and Corvo nails?
I didn't even realize that. No, this is the stuff I had. I promise you, but I should have just said I did. I should have.
You could have just said, yeah, that was a freebie.
Whatever. Screw it. All right. All right. Adore you both.
Bye. Thank you.